Hello. So I'm going to introduce you to Nigeria today, and we should start with some words. So the country today is called Nigeria. The country that's just north and west of it is called Niger because it was colonized by the French, different pronunciation for a similar word. And the name comes from this river that flows down through the country here. Um, which in the British pronunciation is called the Niger River. um, and one of the things about Nigeria is that so many different ethnic groups were here. It was never a one country before the British made it so. This group, the Yoruba, was an independent functioning nation. The Igbo had their own nation, and up in the north, the Hausa and Fulani tribes had their own nations, all of which were sort of smashed together by the British colonialism in this area. The capital of Nigeria is Abuja, and the biggest city is Lagos. And up there in the north, it's very mountainous and high plains. But down by the ocean in the south, there are what are called mangrove forests that grow out into the ocean. Mangrove forest is a really special kind of forest. It has trees that grow right into the standing water and grow in the salt water. And it's a very unique environment for animals, different kinds of snakes and insects and things like that, and very difficult environment for humans, unless you have a boat like this gentleman here. So this up here is the capital city, Abuja, and you can tell that it's kind of a planned city. It was built in the 80s, so it has these big wide streets, and it looks as though someone designed it with a plan in mind. Lagos, however, is the biggest city in the continent of Africa, and this is an old city that kind of grew up with old areas and new areas right next to each other. Notice how both cities have these giant mosques and the minarets, which lets you know that Islam is a very important religion in Nigeria. So speaking of religion, quite a few Nigerians picked up the practice of Christianity from the British, and all different kinds of Christianity are practiced in Nigeria. About 10% of the population practices Catholic religion. The biggest religion, however, is Islam, which is practiced all over the north and all over the country. And something else that's really important is the traditional religion of the Yoruba is sometimes called Ifa, and that is the original religion that we talked about existing in Haiti, that is traveled all around the world with slaves from West Africa and become Santeria and various other manifestations of that religion. So that traditional religion of the Yoruba, this is where it comes from, Nigeria and Ghana. And the thing that the British actually wanted in Nigeria is palm oil. So around here you see a lot of palm trees. They're mostly ornamental. They don't have fruit. Palm trees come in all different varieties. Some of them have date fruit, and some of them have palm nuts. And this palm nut is what grows in this particular kind of tree. It is a kind of soft red fruit that oozes oil when you squeeze it. And so palm oil is like a red, in its original form, is a red oil, very thick, very delicious, full of vitamins. But it's also special because it, among all oils, it retains its viscosity at high temperatures. So like if you think about butter, when you cook it, it burns and then it gets all black. That kind of behavior makes butter a very bad lubricant for machines, because if you put it in your machines to make the parts go smoothly, it would burn up and stink, and it would be awful. Palm oil stays together and stays viscous at very high temperatures, so the British wanted it for their machinery, for lubricating machinery. The other thing that people do with palm nuts, though, besides making palm oil, is they use the seed in the middle of the palm nut to make a palm wine. and so it is pressed and then fermented, and it makes a very potent alcoholic drink. Today, Nigeria sells a different kind of oil. Today, Nigeria is one of the biggest sources of petroleum oil, which comes from wells underneath the ground, primarily out in the ocean along the border of Nigeria. This has made Nigeria very, very wealthy, but it has also caused a lot of environmental damage. This is what happens when some of that oil from underneath the ground leaks up into the water and then floats to the beaches and kills the plants and animals. And the wealth from oil is very unevenly distributed. So I love this picture because it shows a woman walking along an oil pipeline. And if you think about that, what it means is that thousands of tons of oil are being pumped across the land here to make somebody rich. But in her community, there is no road good enough for her to walk on. So she is walking on the pipes. So her community has not benefited from that oil wealth. So this is one of the issues that Nigeria faces. The music of Nigeria is world renowned, and I'd like to show you a couple different samples. There's a bunch of different musical styles, but I'm going to illustrate juju music, and the most well-known singer, King Sunny Ade, and also high life, and the most well-known singer, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. So let me just demonstrate that for you for a few seconds, and you will want to hear it on your own, play it on your own so you can get some good quality. Let's start with the King Sunny Ade. Synchro system. So you can see the kind of like hypnotic nature of it, and the use of traditional instruments mixed in with electric instruments. These are like long sequences, lovely to dance to, lovely to listen to. Get one on your own music devices. And then this is High Life music by Fela Kuti. He was famous for his outfits. Get in the groove of this sound now. Let's all clap to the rhythm so we can feel it. Let's go now. Ready? push it ahead just because I want you to hear the instrumentation. So you'll have to come back and listen to some more, but you can hear the influence of jazz, which of course is originally from that continent of Africa, mixing in with that kind of hypnotic traditional sound. So outside of music, I wanted to point out a little bit about the Nigerian cloth industry and the fashion industry in Nigeria, because this is something that the British very much suppressed and yet has survived. Each group community in Nigeria has its own special expression in terms of what kind of traditional cloth they make. The Akwete cloth is a Yoruba style, and the Adire cloth is an Igbo style. And I wanted to show you just a little bit of how that is made. This Adire cloth, super fancy designs. And I'm just gonna, this is a short one, and no sound. They're tying little seeds inside the cloth so that the cloth will have the pattern of the seed. So then all these designs are put in using the different techniques. People use the paintings to tell stories, to keep history. And this is the source of the blue indigo dye that you see in your blue jeans. And then the dye is washed out, or the pastes are washed out to just leave the dye and the white. So the point here is that when the British arrived in Nigeria to trade their cloth, the Nigerians really already had their own traditions and their own style of cloth that they were quite good at making. So just, I should always mention food, and the traditional staple of Nigeria is the yam. But when you hear the word yam, do not think about the little Christmas yams that we eat in this country. That is a plant from the Americas that was cultivated by enslaved people who came here and missed the African yam. But the African yam is a huge plant and very robust, and produces a lot of food. It's grown in these mounds because the rain in Nigeria is very strong, and so if you don't like pile it up like this, the water washes away all the dirt. But also, the yams are more productive and they produce a larger thing when they have these little mounds. This is a preparation, one of the various preparations for yam in a meat and yam stew. And you can tell that palm oil was used to cook this because it has that distinctive red color that just makes my mouth water when I think about it. So there's your little introduction to Nigeria.